I was once in a community theater play when I was younger in Lawrence, Kansas. And two women who were helping out with the play were discussing how the Danish were descended from the lost Israeli tribe of Dan. Now, I kept it to myself, but I'm thinking, that's silly. But I run into that a whole lot, where people will make an equivalence just because two names, at least they're spelled the same. I mean, we don't even know a lot of times how to pronounce it in the native language when it's transcribed into English, okay? And it's patently silly. You cannot say that this is related to that just based on words, and a lot of times words that are spelled just because they're similar. Okay, I'll give you an idea. The word for dog in Welsh is key. Well, the word for dog in Sherpa is key. One language is spoken in the British Isles. The other one is spoken in the Himalayas and is Tibeto-Burman, whereas Welsh is a Celtic language and part of the Indo-European language family. Totally unrelated. But you will still find people that will try to make that kind of connection. Or there's oh, look, my language is first. Well, yeah, we don't know what the first language is, but I've actually read people trying to say that all languages are descended from Tamil, huh? Or from Albanian, huh? And what they'll do is they will take some words and say, look how this compares to that word in English. Okay, yeah, it doesn't quite work that way. There are thousands of languages still spoken in the world, and a lot of them are unrelated. But this is the main thing. Most languages have around 30 significant sounds called phonemes, 30 to 40. Some have less, like Polynesian languages, and some have as much as 140, like some of the languages in southern Africa with the clicks and all. Okay? But if you just take that most languages have around 5 cardinal vowels, you know, I mean, English has more, but, they have like 30 different consonant sounds. Especially one-syllable words are often going to come out being the same, even though the languages aren't the same. So, for example, there's one Australian language that the word for dingo is a dog. Yeah, well, I don't think that's related to the English dog, okay? And I could go on with example after example. But then when it gets really weird is when you get into this, you know, like New Age spirituality literature, like stuff you would hear on Coast to Coast, and they will sit there and they will say, well, this word means this, and it goes back to this, and they don't know what they're talking about. I heard one guy talking about how Incan was a perfect language, and you could express stuff in it that couldn't be expressed in any other language. Well, in a way, every language has things that are not exactly expressible in other languages, but you can get a close approximation. And I, of course, went and looked at the Incan, or Quechua, actually, and it's a agglutinative language. There's nothing magical or special or different about it, but he had to make this mystical reference. And I hear those mystical references with languages all the time. Yeah, they're not there, okay? That's like one religion claimed they got their scriptures from a guy that had translated Reformed Egyptian, whatever that is. Okay? And here's the whole thing. Egyptian had thousands of years of history. I will guarantee you at the end of the 1,000 years, it wasn't pronounced the same as it was when they first started writing it down. Okay? And in fact, Egyptian still survives as Coptic and is written with a modified Greek alphabet. So, when people try to use language to show that there's a connection, especially a mystical or spiritual connection, be very, very skeptical, because it probably just ain't so.